Alright, so it's time for Raw. Monday Night Raw, April 25th, 2016. My birthday, I might add. Hartford, Connecticut, the Excel Center. Show starts off with a recap from last week, the stuff between Roman Reigns, and AJ Styles, and I'm just going to call them the Bullet Club guys, Gallows and Anderson. So they show a recap of all that shit that happened. And then that cuts into the intro video, the Raw intro video, and we get Pyro, which is nice. And right at the start of things, the commentators hype up. We're getting AJ versus Sheamus of the League of Nations. And we will also be getting Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio, also of the League of Nations. So we get hyped for those two things. Out comes Shane McMahon to a pop. He talks a bit. Trying to remember what he said. Wasn't much, really, of interest. He's interrupted by Stephanie's music. And she comes out to booze. And she starts running her fucking mouth. She says that this is going to be Shane's last night running Raw, because at Payback, the pay-per-view, this Sunday I might add, so this is also the go-home Raw, she says that at the pay-per-view this Sunday, Vince will decide who is going to be the permanent GM of Raw, whether it's Shane or Stephanie. So, God, I hope Vince, for whatever reason, lets Shane keep running it, because if they go back to the same old shit with the Authority, it's going to suck again. I'll be completely honest with you. Raw, the past few weeks since WrestleMania was over, with Shane running the show, they've been better than they were before WrestleMania, with Triple H and Stephanie, the Authority, running things, but they still haven't been really super great, you know. It's been better. Better. Just by a bit. And it's great that Vince and Stephanie and Triple H haven't been around. But if they just revert right back to the fucking Triple H and Stephanie Authority crap, well, there goes all that fucking hard work flushed down the toilet. Anyways, after this revelation from Stephanie that Vince is going to decide who's going to run Raw at the pay-per-view, Shane says, well, how about we have a poll here in Hartford, you know? And he says, you know, who do you people here in Hartford want to keep running Raw? He says, Stephanie, and they're like, boo. And Shane, and they're like, yeah. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. And of course, boo, yeah, you know. Shane's just having a little fun. Shane's like, okay, enough of this. You know, just having a little bit of fun. But, Stephanie, in all seriousness, though, I am still leaving or running Raw. So if you would politely leave for right now, you know, I got to run the show, so I need you to fuck off. He asks her to leave politely. You know, being a good brother. Steph's like, no, not leaving politely. And Shane's like, well, okay, if you won't leave politely, then I'm going to have to ask security to come down and drag your sorry ass the fuck out of here. Sure enough, down comes security, and they get her to leave the ring, and they're starting to go up the ramp the aisleway, and she's like, don't touch me. She's telling the security guys, don't touch me. One of them stupidly goes around and tries to, just kind of touch her, just to kind of usher her up the ramp. He touches her. She turns around and slaps the crap out of him. The other two grab her by an arm, and they're carting her ass the fuck out. She's kicking and screaming the whole way. Meanwhile, the crowd singing, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. And Shane even starts singing along with it. After that, Shane's like, alright, we're having fun here, but we gotta get serious now. We're gonna kick the show off with some action here. And to do that, we've got a match with AJ Styles, and that's gonna be up next. And so, out comes AJ to a pop, of course. And he even kind of knuckles with Shane on the way down the ramp. Shane's leaving. So we're getting ready for the match, and they cut to a commercial break. When the commercial comes back, or when the commercial ends and we come back to the show, Sheamus starts coming out. But he's using his own music. That really crappy music he's had ever since he came back from that injury with the mohawk and everything, right? That really shitty music. And he even has his normal entrance, like his non-League of Nations entrance. His entrance is atrocious, by the way. It's completely black, and then he comes out on the stage, and this bright, goddamn, blinding white spotlight shines down on him, and he's doing his little pose, and he's so fucking pale, he looks like a white silhouette standing there. And it was so blinding, I'm like, motherfucker, I can't look at this sumbitch. It was that fucking blinding. This motherfucker is pale, okay? He comes out, and he gets like the Ryback pyro that goes off behind the Titantron. Whatever the fuck. He gets no reaction, by the way, as basically all three of the League of Nations members, they all have their own individual matches, by the way, tonight, and they all have their own individual entrances. And they all get no reactions. So yeah, Sheamus comes out, no reaction, and we get this match between AJ Styles and Sheamus, and it actually turns out to be a good match. Styles does the charging knee while he's on the apron. Sheamus is on the floor, and AJ knees downward and catches him in the face. I believe he did that in his match with Sammy a couple of weeks back. But he just drills Sheamus with this knee. And then he goes to do a moonsault off of the apron to the floor, but Sheamus gets out of the way. And he kicks AJ and then throws him into the stairs, the ringside ring steps. And that leads into a commercial break. After the commercial break, I think Sheamus had AJ in a rest hold because that's usually how they come back from a break. Sheamus does the Irish Curse backbreaker on AJ, but he holds him, and then he lifts him up and he does it again. And for some reason, the camera decided to zoom in really close on Sheamus's face, and I happened to notice he's got a fucking nose piercing now. One of the door knockers, you know what I mean, with the ring, but it's not a full ring, it's got the hole and the little knobby things on the ends. Looks like a door knocker. I hate that fucking piercing. It looks stupid as fuck. And so does the normal ring, because that looks like the nose, the ring in a bull's nose. You've got the bull ring piercing and the door knocker piercing. They're both stupid as fuck. Sheamus has this now, apparently. Great. Another reason for me to laugh at you, you dumb shit. Anyways. I just had to make a note of that because it's like, really, dude? You already have the stupid fucking mohawk. And he got rid of the dumbass shit in his beard. He's just got like a normal beard now, which looks retarded as fuck. The beard starts up here with the sideburns, and it goes down, and he's got, the mustache and shit and everything, but it ends there, and then he's just got the mohawk on his head, so everything over here is bald. It's just the mohawk there. Bubba Ray had the same shit going on in TNA, where he had, like, sideburns coming down, and, like, a chin strap, and then he had his little, not really a mohawk, because it wasn't that big, but he had, like, this just kind of small strip of hair going down the middle of his dome. Looks stupid as hell. If your sideburns don't connect to anything, they look stupid. So, anyways, rambling about shit that doesn't even matter. Let's get back to the match. Okay. I think AJ went up to the top rope to do something. Sheamus hits his legs out from under him and crotches him on the top turnbuckle, right? Sheamus was going to, like, superplex him or something. AJ counters it. Or no, Sheamus was going to do the white noise. He gets AJ up on his shoulders and then drops him down like he's going to give him, the Emerald Frozen. But AJ slips out of it and power bombs Sheamus off of the top rope. So it was like a sunset flip power bomb. So, yeah, nice little thing there. Not directly after, but later on in the match, Sheamus goes for the Texas Cloverleaf. AJ counters out of it. Trying to remember how. Somehow he got out of it, and he did a go-behind on Sheamus to go for, like, a German or whatever, but Sheamus just kind of elbowed him, but AJ turns around and does the Pele kick and nails Sheamus. So, nice thing there. AJ went for the Styles Clash. He had him bent over, and he does the little thing for it. He always does the stupid pose, and he gets countered. It's stupid. Don't pose, just hit the fucking move, okay? Goddamn. Of course, Sheamus basically just, I don't think he backdropped him. No, he, like, lifted him up and then shoved him off. Right, and AJ kind of backed up and hit the ropes, and I don't know. Sheamus, I guess, wound up just leveling AJ. And Sheamus is finally able to lock in the Cloverleaf. He's got it locked in. AJ crawls over, he gets the rope break. After the rope break, AJ wound up on the apron. And Sheamus backs up for some idiotic reason. I don't know why the hell he thought this would be a good idea. Especially against somebody the likes of AJ Styles, who is a seasoned ring technician and a seasoned veteran. Maybe not in the WWE, which doesn't fucking matter. But AJ is a damn good wrestler, and he knows to counter dumb shit like this. This was a stupid fucking move by Sheamus' part, and it costed him the match. What happened? AJ's on the apron. Sheamus backs up all the way across the ring, and he's like, come on, motherfucker, get up, because AJ's, like, laying on the apron. AJ gets up, Sheamus charges, and goes to do the brogue kick to hit AJ. What happens? AJ sidesteps it, and Sheamus' leg gets caught on the top rope. Or maybe it was the middle rope. It gets caught on the middle rope. AJ kicks the rope into Sheamus' hamstring, and that fucks him up. He's staggered. He staggers backwards into the ring. AJ springboards, hits the phenomenal forearm, knocks Sheamus the fuck out with it. 1, 2, 3. AJ wins. Crowd pops. Yay! While AJ is celebrating in the ring, camera cuts up to the stage. Out come Anderson and Gallows. They're not in their street clothes anymore, no. They're in ring gear. And they have these cool entrance coats that they wear. They have, like, hoods, kind of like the hood on AJ's vest. But they have, like, these long coats. They're white with, like, it almost looks like the old Nasty Boys with the paint splatter kind of effect to it. But it's like all, the coats are white, but the paint splatter is black. So it's like this white and black thing. Gallows has like a singlet on and like shorts, and then his knee pads and boots, and Anderson is just wearing trunks with knee pads and boots, of course. But yeah, so they come out on the stage and they're kind of like clapping for AJ, because, of course, AJ's their buddy, whatever. This basically just segues. We cut back to a locker room. There's Roman. He's watching this unfold on the monitor. Anderson and Gallows clapping for AJ, who's in the ring. So Reigns is seeing this. He turns over. There's the Usos, his cousins. And they talk to him like, you know what these guys are doing, right? They're going to try and screw you over at the pay-per-view. Yada, yada, yada. And Roman says, whatever. I don't care. I can handle them myself. And the Usos are like, yeah, but, sometimes, they're like, Usos are like, yeah, we know your little catchphrase, one versus all. But sometimes the one needs the help of the all. And Roman's like, yeah, and sometimes the all needs the help of the one. And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. End of that segment. Out comes the New Day, out to the ring. They get a nice pop. Cut to a commercial break. Coming back, New Day is still in the ring, and they're getting ready for a promo. They start talking. They cut this promo, and I think they even did something that was a tribute to Prince, the musical artist Prince, who just recently died. Yeah. But so after that, the Vaudevillains music hits, and they start coming out. And they've got microphones, and they're talking. The New Day was talking about, the tag title #1 contendership tournament that's going to be finishing at Payback. Why they couldn't just finish it here tonight and then have the tag title match at Payback. Actually, thinking about it actually makes more sense this way. You have the finish of the tournament at Payback, and then you've got a whole month to build up to the title match at the next pay-per-view. That's probably what's going to happen. But yeah. So the Vaudevillains come out and they cut their little promo. And they mention Enzo and Big Cass. So out the two of them come to a nice pop. And they talk. Enzo made a good joke. Now I can't remember what the fuck it was. I should have wrote this shit down. Well, whatever. I'm sure you can look the video up and see it if you really want to know. I honestly can't remember, sorry. Big Cass ends with a SAWFT soft, And then Xavier Woods says something followed by Big E, and they end their promo with a New Day rocks, and that's the end of that segment. Cutting backstage, one of the random-ass backstage areas, there's Gallows and Anderson again, still wearing their cool entrance gear and everything. They have a tag team match against the Usos, and that's going to be up next. And they cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, the commentators get to talking about this, and they show the tweet from John Cena saying, and this is hilarious, his tweet actually says the prognosis on return from his injury is normally 9 months, but I'm ready to go in 5. I'm coming back on Memorial Day. That's what the tweet says. So Cena is supposedly coming back on Memorial Day. I'm guessing that's going to be a Monday Night Raw. Don't know, don't care. Honestly, Cena, if you want to come back early and get hurt again, I don't care. I'll laugh at you when you fucking get hurt, and then you'll end up having to be out for another year. This is your problem, Cena. You get hurt, You come back way too goddamn early, and then you get hurt again, and you have to go away again. You need to actually heal from these injuries. This is why your body has broken down so much. It's because you've been injured, and you've refused to take the time off that you need. You need to fucking take the time off. And we don't need you back. Well, the WWE might think they need you back, but let's put it this way. The crowd doesn't want you back. They haven't wanted to see your ass in years. You keep coming out and bothering us, like the annoying little kid during lunch at school. The annoying kid, hey, can I sit with you guys? Can I play with you guys? No, moron, go away. Nobody likes you. Fuck off. Anyways, back to the arena, the Usos music hits, and they do their little tribal dance, and they get their full entrance. I can't believe the crowd still reacts to them when they do their Uso thing. Stop reacting to this shit, even if you are just looking for something to do during the match, or during the show. They suck. They chant that during the damn match. Anyways, the Usos come out, and while they're coming out, we get a recap from 2 weeks ago, the debut of the Bullet Club guys attacking the Usos. So they recap that. And then, Gallows and Anderson's music hits. Their music actually ain't bad. They've got this nice hard rock kind of song. Has a little bit of an intro thing to it. They come out, and I think they got a small pop, because the crowd is like, yay, these guys are cool, because, you know, Bullet Club. Hell, there was a dude in the crowd standing over by the commentators, back behind him. I don't know if they maybe showed this later on, but the dude was wearing a Bullet Club shirt. So, yeah. But anyways, they come out, it's time for this match. Start the match, and the match, again, also ended up being good. First thing of note was exactly what I said. The crowd starts chanting, ooh, so suck. Ooh, so suck. Like the New Day Rocks thing, yeah. Anyways, Gallows and Anderson are playing the heels, of course, in this match. And, of course, they do the heel thing. Jey Uso is still got a taped up shoulder from the injury from whenever the fuck. Gallows and Anderson take turns beating the shit out of this shoulder and working it. Just working it over like crazy. Jay starts making like a comeback and stupidly goes up to the top rope. Well, I think what happens is Gallows was legal, but Anderson comes over on the apron to try to get Jay off of the top rope. Jay just kind of kicks him off, but then Gallows comes up and shoves his dumb ass off the fucking top rope, and he crashes and burns into the fucking barricade at ringside, all the way to the fucking floor. Yeah. They cut to a commercial after that. Coming back from the commercial, they're still working Jay. They finally work their way towards Jay getting the hot tag to Jimmy. Jimmy comes up and whatever the fuck. We start getting towards the finish here. Jimmy is like trying to... He's working off of the hot tag, trying to go to the, the comeback combo and trying to go towards the finish of getting the win. Well, trying to remember exactly what happens. I think Gallows got knocked out of the ring by Jimmy, but Jay was over there. And so Gallows grabs Jay and chucks him over the barricade into the crowd. Jimmy dives out of the ring on top of Gallows. I think he does the corner dive again. But Anderson comes out and clobbers Jimmy, throws him back into the ring, gets back into the ring. Gallows is already back up and in the corner. And Anderson tags in Gallows. They set Jimmy up and they hit the Au revoir, the fucking magic killer, and they get the win. So Gallows and Anderson, the Bullet Club guys, whatever the fuck you want to call them. We need to come up with a good tag team name for these two guys, because I'm not going to call them Gallows and Anderson forever. That's just too long. G and A. Anyways. So yeah, they get the win off of the Magic Killer. And then Gallows goes out of the ring and grabs Jay from out the crowd, because he was still out there. Pulls him back over the barricade, chucks him back into the ring, and Gallows and Anderson are just punching each of the Usos. Like, one of them has one and one of them has the other. They're just punching the crap out of them. Reigns' music hits, and he comes charging down. I think Gallows went out to meet him, gets met by this huge, running, leaping clothesline, gets clobbered by this. Reigns goes into the ring and clobbers Anderson and throws him the fuck out of the ring. He cleans house. And so Reigns is left standing tall with the Usos, who he helps them back up. So that's the end of that segment. We get hype for Reigns versus Del Rio for later on. That ends up being the main event, by the way. We also get hype for... Well, what they do is they show a little hype thing. They do this all the time, where they hype up the matches that are going to be on the pay-per-view. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have a match at the pay-per-view. So they show the little hype thing for that. But they use that to say, well, up next on the show, we're going to show you, like a video package or whatever, on the history between these two. Their 14-year friendship, you know. I'm like, yeah, excluding, of course, all the shit that happened between them at Ring of Honor. But yeah, so they say, we're going to show this video about their friendship, and that's going to be next, and they cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the break, Renee Young is in the interview area, and there's AJ Styles, and she goes to talk to him, and then all of a sudden, there's Anderson and Gallows, and they're like, yo, we need to talk to AJ about this whole thing. And they're talking about Reigns and the Usos, and AJ's like, you know, you guys are my boys, but I don't need your help to beat Reigns. But they're like, yeah, but we're just trying to make sure the Usos ain't getting involved in shit. And like, okay, fine, you can keep them away, but I don't need your help beating Reigns. Okay, I need to do this by myself. That's basically the gist of it. After that, we finally get the video package, the thing for Zayn and Owens. Well, it starts with a recap from the Royal Rumble, where Zayn returned and eliminated Owens from the Rumble. And then it cuts into, again, this video about their friendship. It shows these old pictures of them from years ago, and it shows the two of them talking about each other, and like, yeah, we met each other in Canada, Montreal probably, or wherever, and we became friends, and started traveling together, working for the same promotions and shit, and then it gets to Owens' debut on NXT, and that happened to coincide with the night that Sammy won the NXT title from Neville, I believe. And Sammy wins, and like the whole locker room comes out to celebrate with him, including Owens, and everybody else leaves except for Sammy and Owens, and then the two of them are going to leave, and then Owens just throws Sammy to the floor on the ramp, and just starts beating the crap, power bombs him on the apron, gets him in the ring, does the pop-up power bomb in the ring, power bombed him on the apron another 2 or 3 times or some shit. They show all of that, and more of the two of them talking about each other, and the whole thing of Sammy coming to the main roster and getting hurt, and then he's in the hospital, and then Owens makes his debut and all this other stuff, and yada yada yada. So there's this whole big recap video of their whole friendship and all this other stuff. Anyways, cutting back to the arena, Sammy comes out to a pop, and they cut to a commercial break. He's got a match against Rusev. The commentators managed to say that before they went to the commercial. So anyways, coming back from the commercial, Rusev comes out to his own music with Lana. Lana looking pretty fucking hot and still wearing her like Dolph Ziggler's girlfriend gear, the little tiny top with the little jacket that she wore and this short skirt with her hair in a ponytail. Looking really fucking hot. She is way too pretty to be married to that ugly motherfucker. Ugh. So anyways, they get no reaction, of course, because League of Nations and Rusev's a boring jabroni anyways. We get a match between Rusev and Sammy. And the match turns out to be okay. Not as good as the other two, though. We got an Olay chant at the beginning, and then the crowd started chanting, "We want Lana." Of course you do. Okay. Rusev wound up on the outside of the ring, and Sammy went to do the springboard to dive on him. Rusev, of course, catches him because he's so strong, and then he just drops Sammy face first onto the ring apron, so it was like a snake eyes onto the ring apron. Sammy comes back almost immediately. Rusev picked him up and threw him towards the barricade, while Sammy jumps up onto the barricade and then moonsaults and wipes Rusev out. They get back in the ring, and they wound up on the top rope. I guess, again, Rusev was probably going to superplex Sammy. Sammy fights him off, but Rusev counters or comes back with a big roundhouse that nails Sammy in the head, and Sammy falls off the top rope to the apron and then out to the floor. So he just kind of tumbles down from the top rope all the way to the floor. There was a commercial break. And what ends up happening, Rusev is beating Sammy down. He gets him down, and he's going for the accolade. He stomps on his back, and he goes to hook the arms, but he goes for the second one, and Sammy starts fighting. He gets out of it, rolls Rusev up. 1, 2, 3. Sammy gets the win. The crowd popped, I think. And Sammy gets the fuck out of there, because he's like, this motherfucker's going to be pissed, right? He gets out, but he's like, yeah, motherfuckers, I won. Lana throws her fucking shoe at Sammy, and he's like, motherfucking bitch, whatever. He just kind of laughs it off. And these ain't no regular shoes. They were high heels, so I can't imagine that not hurting. Although I'm sure Lana was happy to get them off, because they probably was killing her feet. Anyways, so Sammy's backing up the ramp, and I can already see this coming because it's obviously going to happen. What do you think? Owens comes from out of nowhere and clobbers Sammy from behind, leveling him, and leaving him laying on the fucking ramp. That's basically it. End of that segment. Cutting back, there's Renee Young in the interview area again. And she says, my guest at this time, Apollo Crews. And I'm like, oh great, this guy's going to talk. And sure enough, he's got the Mike Tyson voice. Oh my god. And for some strange reason, up comes Stardust. And Apollo calls him Cody. And Stardust is like, who are you talking about? And Apollo starts going on and on, you know, I really respected your father, Dusty Rhodes. He really helped me in NXT, and he actually came up with the name Apollo Crews. And Stardust, he starts doing this goofy-ass voice, like he's going for the supervillain voice. And he cuts this promo on Cruz. I can't even remember it. And then that's it. And they cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, Stardust is finishing his entrance. He's standing on the barricade, like, trying to scare the crowd, whatever the fuck. And then out comes Apollo Crews. So, yeah, that's the reason for the promo, is these two have a match. It ends up being another just meh fucking squash match. The only things of note was Stardust hits a second rope neck breaker on Crews. Crews was going to get back into the ring, and Cody caught him and neck breakered him. The crowd started chanting Cody at him. Crews hits a standing moonsault on Stardust while he's on the ground in the ring. Crews hits his spinning sit-out powerbomb and he gets the win. Crowd's dead. They don't give a fuck about this guy. Cutting back to, again, one of the backstage areas, there's Dean motherfucking Ambrose. Michael Cole says he's coming out and he's got something to say, and that's going to be up next. And they cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the break, Ambrose's music hits. He comes out to a pop. And while he's coming out, they recap last week the match from the main event, Ambrose versus Owens, with Ambrose winning, only to be attacked by Jericho, who hits him with a fucking code breaker. Cutting back live, Ambrose has a mic, he starts talking, and he cuts a fucking good promo. Can't remember all the things he says, but it's a good promo. And he finally ends by calling out Jericho. He says, "You can come on out with your stupid fucking scarf and your Christmas tree jacket, and bring your ass on out here." Jericho's music hits, and he starts coming out. He's coming out with this puzzled look on his face. He's like, what the fuck? He gets in the ring, and he starts talking, and basically he's puzzled. He's like, how dare you call me out? How dare you disrespect me? All this and that. He got no reaction when he came out, by the way, because again, nobody fucking cares about Jericho anymore. This motherfucker is 40-something years old, and he's boring as shit. He tells Ambrose, I want you to apologize to me. I want you to kiss my boots. And these are $1,500 boots. And the camera gets a nice close-up of them. He wants Ambrose to apologize. And Ambrose is like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you got charged so much for them ugly-ass boots. I'm sorry you look like an idiot in that stupid scarf and all these other things. He's just burning the shit out of Jericho with these insults. And he's like, I'm sorry for what I'm going to have to do at Payback, but I'm not sorry for this. And he just clocks Jericho and just starts beating the crap out of him, throws him out of the fucking ring, smacks his fucking head on the commentary table a few times, knocks Jericho down, starts clearing off the commentary. He takes the top part of the commentary table off. He gets up on the commentary table. Jericho's starting to get up. Dean bends over and grabs Jericho by the head, and it's looking like he's trying to pull him up on the table with him. This backfires when Jericho sweeps Ambrose's legs out from under him, causing Ambrose to fall face first. The implication is he smacks his head on the fucking monitor that's still on the table. He smacks his head on this monitor, and it knocks him loopy. Jericho gets on him, starts beating him, and then gets him and locks him in the walls of Jericho on the fucking commentary table. And finally, some referees come out, and they break Jericho off of Ambrose. And that's basically the end of that. They show a recap of the shit between Shane and Stephanie from the beginning of the show. And then they hype up Reigns versus Del Rio for later. And they cut to another commercial break. Coming back from the break, they recap what just happened between Jericho and Ambrose. Cutting back to the ring, Natalia's in the ring. And her music is playing whatever the fuck. Emma's new heel music hits, and she comes out. She has this horrible new entrance. She has, like, shoulder pads. They almost look like the super, like the Saiyan armor shoulder pads. Like, just those. She's got those, and she's wearing, like, aviator shades. She gets no reaction, by the way, and her new music sounds like shit, but then again, her old music sounded like shit, and this is just a new remix. Ugh. She gets in the ring, and then for some reason, Charlotte's music hits, and she comes out with her fucking old as dirt granddad, Ric Flair. They come out, hardly any reaction, by the way. The match starts between Natalya and Emma, and Charlotte goes over and sits down and joins the commentary table. Not much to this match. Charlotte's on commentary. The crowd starts chanting, "We want Sasha." Natalya locks Emma in the sharpshooter, and Emma taps out like the bitch that she is. Natalya wins by submission. And after the match, Natalya goes out of the ring and goes over towards Charlotte, but Charlotte, like, starts hiding behind her fogey of a granddad, Flair. And Flair's just smiling at her. He's like, what's up, bitch? And, like, finally, I think some more referees had to come out and get Natalya to back off. Lame shit, whatever the fuck. Segment over. Commentators segue into a tribute for Chyna, who just passed away. So they show, the RIP thing, and they show this nice big long video package of her whole career from her days when she started in DX to being Intercontinental Champion, being in the Royal Rumble, being Women's Champion so many times, and just everything that she did in the WWE. Hopefully they will do the right thing and put her into the Hall of Fame next year. But anyways, after the tribute video, they cut to a commercial break. Cutting back from the break, I start hearing Damien Sandow's music. They were talking about it was one of those stupid did you know things. Did you know that we... And I hear Sandow's music playing, and I'm like, seriously? Are we going to get to see him wrestle for once? No, actually. He's standing in the ring, and he's ready for a match. Well, they show a recap from SmackDown this past Thursday of Baron Corbin attacking Dolph Ziggler again. And of course that segues into Baron Corbin is coming out for his match against Damien Sandow. Well, Corbin starts doing his entrance, and they changed it up a little bit. Instead of it being white spotlights, they're all red. And when he does his little pose, it comes this blinding red. And as the camera's looking at the stage, and there's Corbin standing there, you can see from the curtain, out comes Ziggler, who just fucking tacks Corbin, starts beating the crowd, and knocks him off the stage, jumps off the stage to leap on him, beating the shit out of him. Referees come out to break the two up, and Corbin runs the fuck away like a chicken shit coward. And that's the end of that. So Corbin was supposed to have a match against Sandow. Didn't get to see that. Anyways, that's the end of that segment. More hype for Reigns versus Del Rio, and another commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, we get a new video package or vignette for Primo and Epico. This one, they're in a nightclub. And they're dancing, they got some hot chicks, and they're talking about the clubs in Puerto Rico are so nice, and the drinks are exotic and sexy just like the women, and all this other shit. Can these motherfuckers just fucking re-debut already? Come on. Anyways, cutting back live into the arena, The Miz and Maurice are in the ring. Maurice starts talking, she introduces The Miz, and he starts talking. The two make out for a minute, and they continue talking. Miz is talking about Cesaro, and Cesaro comes out, and with the whole suit thing that he's been doing lately, a lot of people have been saying that he kind of looks like a James Bond kind of guy and everything. With his Minitron, they actually do the James Bond gimmick with the fucking looking down the barrel of the gun. Cesaro's standing there on the stage, and behind him, directly behind him on the Minitron, it shows the barrel thing. And I'm like, fucking really? I think that might be a little too much. But he comes out, and he starts talking. Miz starts doing these terrible impressions of old movie stars. He does one of, like, De Niro. He does one of, like, Pacino, I think. And Cesaro says something to the effect of, "That's funny, Miz, because the only movie you belong in is Jackass." They're getting their way towards the end here, and Miz ends with, "There's only one question you need to ask yourself for our match at Payback. And it's, do you feel lucky, punk? Do ya?" Cesaro answers back with a, "Why don't you make my day, punk?" And he even lifts his shades up to say that. He drops the microphone afterwards, and he's like, "Come on, Miz, let's go." And Miz is like, nah, okay. He grabs Maurice, and he escorts her over to the ropes, and he's looking like he's backing off doing the heel chicken shit thing. He helps Maurice out of the ring. He's going to get out. Cesaro almost turns his back on him. Miz, fake out, goes to attack Cesaro, but as he charges Cesaro lifts him up and uppercuts the fuck out of him. Very European uppercut. He levels Miz with this thing. Then he grabs him by the legs, going for the swing. Maurice jumps back in the ring and jumps on top of Miz, like covering him almost. And this, for some reason, stops Cesaro from doing the swing on the Miz. Cesaro's like, "Okay, never mind. I'll just take your Intercontinental title belt." He grabs the belt and he holds it up. And then he dumps it and he leaves. So that's basically all to that. Cut backstage again. There's Roman Reigns. And he's got his belt. He's coming out for his match with Del Rio. Up comes AJ Styles. He's got his hat on. He turns it around backwards for some reason. And the two of them have a little exchange of dialogue. I'm trying to remember exactly what was said. I think AJ said, "I'm not going to need the help of my friends to beat you." And Roman said, "Yeah, you probably will, actually." I don't know what the fuck exactly it was, but that's basically it. They cut to a commercial break again. Coming back from the break, Reigns comes out to a chorus of boos followed by damn near silence. And then Alberto Del Rio comes out to fucking no reaction. And again, he gets his own normal music. I don't know if they're finally realizing that this League of Nations thing is just not working, and they're like, we might as well have these three go on their separate ways. Even though Lillian, the ring announcer, made mention during all three of their entrances that they were representing the League of Nations. But either way, whatever the fuck. Reigns and Del Rio, we get the match between these two. Turns out to be a fairly boring match. We got a Roman sucks chant. Let's see, what was happening? Roman was trying to get back into the ring. He had been knocked out to the apron or something or whatever the fuck. He comes in, through the middle of the ropes, right? Well, as he stands up to pull his other leg in, Del Rio jumps off the ropes and enziguris him. And so Roman ends up falling back out of the ring all the way to the floor. And he's standing there hunched over by the apron. Del Rio jumps off the apron and stomps onto Roman's back, flooring him. Cut to a commercial break. Del Rio goes for his old concussion kick. Roman dodges it. And starts going into his comeback combo. he gets around to working his way towards the Superman punch, which Del Rio just rolls out of the ring basically to avoid it. Well, Roman slides out of the ring. Del Rio is over, kind of hunched over the apron, kind of leaning up against it. He's right by the corner post. Well, Roman comes, jumps up and does his apron drop kick, kicking Del Rio's head into the fucking post. So, okay, that looked like it would have hurt a little bit more. Sometimes afterwards, Roman was trying to get back into the ring. But again, before he could get his other leg in, Del Rio kicks the ropes, and it goes into Roman's hamstring. So he hamstrings him with the fucking rope. Roman goes down, he's on his knees. Del Rio nails him with the concussion kick. Only gets a 2 count. He gets Roman back up, throws him into the corner, gets him into the Tree of Woe. And I'm like, okay, great. He's going to go for his shitty contrived stomp. Well, he goes for it, and of course Roman tucks himself in to avoid it. And he gets out of it. And Del Rio goes for his cross arm breaker. But that's countered. I think Roman just kind of pushed him off and was able to hit him with a Superman punch. And then the camera cuts up to the stage. There's Gallows and Anderson. Their music actually started playing. And so they're trying to distract Roman. Del Rio went for a roll-up, only got a 2 count. Basically, Roman shrugs off the distraction. I think he hit a Superman punch, and then he hits a spear on Del Rio and gets the 1-2-3. So Reigns wins. Crowd didn't really care much, but Gallows and Anderson get in the ring and they start attacking Roman. And they're beating him down, Then all of a sudden, AJ comes storming down to the ring, and he pulls Gallows and Anderson off. He's like, wait a minute, stop, I didn't ask for this, I don't need you guys to do this. Well, he's kind of like ushering Gallows and Anderson out of the ring. He turns around, only to eat a Superman punch from Roman, being the dick that he is. Gallows and Anderson jump back in the ring to go after Reigns, but Reigns gets the upper hand, chucks the 2 of them both out of the ring. Well, after he chucks the last one out of the ring, AJ's on the apron, he springboards up, comes crashing, and fucking drills Roman with a goddamn flying phenomenal forearm, and knocks Roman the fuck out with his forearm. And that's basically the way Raw goes off the air. AJ was kind of floored after the phenomenal forearm. Roman was down. They're both sucking wind. They're both actually looking like they're kind of getting up. AJ was in the corner kind of trying to prop himself up. Roman was kind of getting up a little bit. Gallows and Anderson, I think, were still on the floor at ringside. They showed replays of the shit, whatever the fuck. But that's basically the way Raw went off the air. So, yeah. That was it for Raw. Go-home episode of the show before the pay-per-view this Sunday, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah. Like I said, with Vince supposedly coming back to decide who's going to be running Raw from now on, I really don't have any hope that he's actually going to keep Shane around. Honestly, I'm surprised they let Shane run the show at all. After him losing to The Undertaker at WrestleMania, I figured Shane would have just rode off into the sunset and that would have been all from him. Because him hosting or running Raw for the past month has basically just made that match worthless. But either way, I have no hopes for that. But some of the matches at the pay-per-view do at least seem like they could be good. You've got AJ and Roman. You've got Ambrose versus Jericho. You've got Zayn and Owens. You got the finals of the Tag Team Title #1 Contendership Tournament. Enzo and Cass against the Vaudevillains. Don't know. I think that was maybe the only... Oh! They announced that Kalisto is going to defend his U.S. title once again against Ryback in the pre-show for Payback. So, even though we haven't really seen much of either one of them on the show, especially not Ryback, for some reason they're still feuding. So great. I'm guessing Ryback is probably going to win the fucking title. After Sin Cara turns on Kalisto to cost him the title, probably. And also the breakup of the Lucha Dragons, because that has to happen. Anyways. But yeah, that was it for Raw. Let's go over the matches one more time like we usually do. Started off with a bang. AJ Styles defeats Sheamus in a good match. Gallows and Anderson beat the fuck out of the punk bitch Usos. Good match. Sami Zayn defeats Rusev with a cheap roll-up, but in fairness, how else was Sami going to beat Rusev? The match was okay, although with Rusev, you're not going to get much better than that, no matter who his opponent is. Apollo Crews beats Stardust in another meh fucking squash match. Natalya defeats Emma with the sharpshooter in a lame, quick Divas match that was only there. Oh yeah, that's the only Divas match that's supposedly going to be on the card at Payback, is Natalya getting another shot at Charlotte and the Women's Championship. And in the main event, Roman Reigns defeats Alberto Del Rio in a boring match, only to get beat up by Anderson and Gallows and laid out with a phenomenal forearm by AJ Styles. I think where they're going with this, the commentators, JBL especially, is just incessant about the collusion between AJ and Anderson and Gallows. AJ must have had them attack Roman, right, and all this other shit. I think what the story is more like going to be is Anderson and Gallows are trying to get AJ to turn to the dark side, and AJ is resisting. But he's still friends with these guys, so it's like, yeah, we're friends, but like, I'm trying to be a good guy here. And it still won't matter even if AJ does turn heel. The fans will still cheer him over Roman, because Roman is still a boring wank peasant. But yeah, that's it for Monday Night Raw. Once again, April 25th, 2016, Hartford, Connecticut's Excel Center. And that was it for Monday Night Raw. So thank you for watching. Show was okay, I guess. Once again, just as long as they keep Triple H and Stephanie the hell off, which they didn't keep Stephanie out, but she was only in the first segment, so. And she got carted off by fucking security, so that's cool. Hopefully, Vince lets Shane continue running Raw. Because I really don't want to see Stephanie and Triple H for a while. A long while. Honestly, I don't really ever want to see them again. But no, and Vince and Triple H and Stephanie, those three morons can't stay gone for too long. But yeah, that was Raw. Thank you for watching. Join us next time for the SmackDown spoilers. I'll be going over that. That'll be the Go Home SmackDown. And then we are going to have Payback on Sunday. And I'll, of course, be doing my pay-per-view predictions. And then, of course, the pay-per-view video itself. We'll get to that as it comes. But anyways, again, thank you for watching. Join us next time, and we will see you next time. Good night.